Welcome to LTU Perspectives, a journey into the experiences, stories, and adventures at Lawrence Technological University. A student-hosted podcast filled with insights and the intriguing stories that embody the LTU spirit.
Welcome to LTU Perspectives. My name is Kristina, and you may recognize me from the very first episode of LTU Perspectives when I was interviewed by Kiara Brown. That was a really fun episode for me to be on, and I'm so excited to be back here hosting. Today, I've brought on a special guest to talk about the Environmental Alliance. Welcome, Madisen.
Hi.
Well, Madisen, what do you do for the Environmental Alliance?
So right now I'm the secretary. So I take meeting minutes and things like that at all of our meetings, and then obviously as well with Kristina, and then our other officers help plan and organize a bunch of different things. So
yeah, we work on it together a lot. So I started the Environmental Alliance because, I just saw a huge need. There was another student on campus who was about to start an alliance, but then got, sidetracked by a bunch of other things that were inevitable coming up for them, but they're still super into what our club is. And so I saw the need and I jumped in because I care a lot about the environment. What made you want to jump into this?
Well, so I was initially approached by Emma, who is our vice president, and she wanted me to sign a petition to get the club up and going. And she gave me kind of the rundown of what you guys wanted to do, and you wanted to bring a sense of community to campus and talk about the environment and bring awareness to a bunch of environmental issues. And I love the environment. Environmental science was my second choice for degrees. So I was super into that idea. So I kept talking to Emma about it. And then once the club kind of came to fruition, I wanted to be a part of it. So I ended up getting a secretary position. I'm super stoked about that.
Yeah, I'm super stoked to have you with us. You always make so much more fun to film our social media videos, and you always have these amazing ideas.
Thank you.
So it's we're building a club based on community for the Environmental Alliance, and I believe our message is we want to build, to establish community through sustainable projects.
Yes.
Right, so we're building the LTU community slowly but surely. Do you have a favorite project that we've worked on?
I really, really love Chalk the Quad, which was our Halloween chalk event. And I thought that it was so great seeing all, what everybody made and what people came up with. And, just the fantastic artists we have on campus. Because I think a lot of people think of, our engineering degrees when they think of Lawrence Tech. And there's a ton of fantastic artists within those. And seeing what everybody drew, and, I think it's still up there. I think all the chalk drawings are still there. So being able to walk by it and, see, kind of the impact we had was super cool. So I really, really liked that one.
I so enjoyed doing that. I was there from 9 to 6 that day. We were underneath one of the skywalks.
Yeah.
And there were so many we had messaged all the clubs and organizations and athletes that we could find. And we're like, come on, just come draw something. And you're right, you would just be so surprised by these engineers that just popped out and they were like, oh, I'll draw, a pumpkin. You drew an amazing pumpkin, by the way. It was gorgeous. One of the best Halloween pumpkins I've ever seen.
Thank you.
But they came out and they were drawing pumpkins. They were drawing Frankensteins. It was just a blast. And I think it really pulled the community together for a second because we had so much fun. I met other people from clubs that I didn't get a chance to learn and know about. We have a new club for chemistry and biology on campus, and we had a lot of fun talking to them about what sustainability meant to them and what sustainability means to us. And, there's the 3 pillars of sustainability, so community, building, environment, and economics. And so we try to always mix those into our club and build people up. So their focus was really on the environment. Now, for the listeners out there, what is your major?
So my major is civil engineering.
So what is the Environmental Alliance or sustainability to a civil engineer?
So civil engineering, a lot of people think of civil engineering as building roads, which is absolutely a huge portion of what it is. But civil engineers also do a lot of structural design and things like that. So within those construction fields, there's a lot of pollution and not so green things happening there. So civil engineers are working with people like environmental scientists and environmental engineers to come up with more green solutions to things like road construction. Right now I'm working on a project for one of my professors about using recycled plastics in asphalt. So doing things like that. The environment is a huge concern for civil engineers because we work with it and we work around it and we try to make, roads and buildings fit within the environment that we're building them in.
That's awesome. So, like, you really just tie these two clubs in, or this club in with your major in such a beautiful way that way. So, like, you can I remember you tend to bring in, like, really good ideas about concepts and how we can build up. And, like, maybe we should do this cool idea for, like, taking one material and making it into something else for other people. And I think that's brilliant. It's one of the coolest things that you bring to the club, I think.
Thank you.
Because I have a big focus on people. I'm a media comm major, and so I have a big people focus. I love talking to people. And then to have the engineers here at LTU also come in with their engineering background, because we have a lot of sustainability and talking about, like, diversity and inclusion on campus and just a bunch of, like, how to build everyone up through the environment, especially in civil. It's always cool to be able to talk to you guys about what we're doing. Yeah. So do you want to share a little bit about what we're doing this semester?
So this semester, I know we have some big things that we've discussed. So I know this coming Saturday, we're doing another bug hunt. So we did one last semester, and I think it was a big hit. I unfortunately couldn't go, but we're doing one on Saturday, and we're looking for stoneflies, correct?
Yeah, so we're looking for stoneflies this time. Last time we did a bug hunt. We do it with Friends of the River Rouge, which is a Detroit-based organization, and what we do for them is we have the River Rouge actually runs through our campus, right? So we got down and into the water and we were, like, looking for all these cool bugs just anywhere, bugs, fish, crayfish, and we were counting them. And one of the coolest things, I think, was LTU just put in a lot of money to kind of change the way the River Rouge habitat was flowing through campus to make it better. And a lot of our civil engineering professors were actually in on this. I know Don Carpenter was in on this. He's a big guy in our civil engineering department. And last year, when we did the bug hunt, they found 40 bugs in 2 hours. This year, when we had the bug hunt, we found over 200 bugs in 2 hours, which just shows just the impact of habitat change. And I think that's, like, such an important thing.
Yeah.
So what we're doing this time is we're looking for stoneflies. And for the past couple of years, we've had absolutely no stoneflies on campus. So we're hoping, fingers crossed, this year we get at least one.
Yeah.
That would be such a huge sign that we're doing so much better with pollution on campus and near campus and throughout Detroit in general.
Yeah, so I'm super excited for that one coming up. And then the other one that I'm really excited for in February, with February being Black History Month, we wanted to highlight, some people of color who have had a big impact on sustainability and the environment. So we'll be talking about some of those individuals coming up. And then I know we also have a little getaway trip planned in February. And then towards the end of the year, so think like May, like final season, with everybody moving out, a lot of people leave a ton of furniture, and we want to be able to take some of that furniture that, people that maybe have to fly home can't take with them, and then repurpose it and give it out next semester to some of the freshmen moving in. So that's the other one I'm super, super excited for and really looking forward to.
I feel like that's such a full circle moment for us because when we first started the club, in fact, even when we first met each other for the very first time, we did a move-in project with the cardboard, and we were collecting it for the design students.
Yes.
And all this cardboard comes in when we're moving in. You were there. I was in the dumpster.
You were in the dumpster.
I was in the dumpster getting it out because we were trying to make it easy for people to figure out what was going on, but it's a little bit difficult and so hectic during move-in that not everyone knows to, put their cardboard on this spot.
Right.
So we were getting into the dumpsters and grabbing the cardboard and bringing it over to where the new freshmen or first-year design students were going to have to use it in their first class.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if you saw the survey yet, but I sent out a survey to all the students in co-ed and asked if that was even helpful for them. And they were saying, yes, get more cardboard because we ran out. And I thought, that's awesome. And I even got to talk to their professor about what ways can we make this project even more sustainable than it was this time. And then at the very end of the survey, I asked if it helps student morale at all, because I know it was a very stressful time for most of the students. And it was over 70% of the students said it boosted the morale.
Oh, awesome.
From seniors to freshmen, they were like, yes, this was a great thing. And I was really appreciative of that because it just shows doing something small, like collecting cardboard, can have such a huge impact on how the campus is going. And that was a sustainable project that brought community together and made everyone a little bit happier.
Yeah, that was I think from last semester, that was definitely one of my favorites that we did. Because just talking to my friends in architecture or, architecture adjacent degrees, being able to, like, hear them say, oh, like, all this cardboard is so helpful to, this project I'm doing or this project I'm doing, or, I keep hearing all the freshmen talk about all this cardboard that they got. I wish I had that. It was so cool to hear and know that, I was a part of that.
Yeah. It's such a nice feeling to be a part of just, like, so many things on campus. One thing I'm actually really excited for this semester is that we're going up to the green roof we have on campus, and we're going to clean it up. So there's a couple of trees and weeds that can't be growing on top of our buildings, so we have to clean it up. And I'm very excited to invite the student body to come up with us and clean that up, because wouldn't it be so fun to see LTU from the building tops? And also, it would be really nice to just clean up as a group effort. I know a lot of people have been messaging us saying, I want to get my hands dirty. I want to put my fingers in the dirt. So what a great opportunity we have coming up.
Yeah, I think that's another thing, too, that connects to civil engineering, doing things like green roofs in buildings. So the green roof is actually another big part of civil engineering in introducing green roofs to different buildings. So for the green roof we have on campus, on top of the BL building, what's really cool about that is it does a couple different things for the building. So it helps keep the building cool in the summer. Because of the vegetation, it provides, it kind of draws the heat away and some of the UV rays away. So it's actually cheaper to both heat and cool that building because the plants act kind of like as an insulator. The other really cool thing is all the water that falls onto that green roof is considered gray water. So it's actually used in the building for things like toilet water. So water that, we're not drinking, we're not coming in contact with necessarily, but, when you flush a toilet, that's a lot of water. So being able to use some of the rainwater that falls onto that green roof is super, super cool and, a big thing in sustainability. So I think the green roof is fascinating, and I'm so excited to go up there.
I'm excited to go up there, too. I have to keep myself calm. I'm just so excited for April to come around and we can get up there. You were talking about the water and heating and cooling, and water conservation is such a huge issue, especially around Michigan. So water conservation is so huge for us. We have a huge supply of fresh water around Michigan, and I know, like, climate change is such a big thing. We have the wildfires going on in California and stuff. It was just so terrible. Do you have any, like, thing that you feel is, like, an important thing that we should be focusing on?
So I think water conservation is a big one. I forget the exact percentage, but most of the Earth's water is salt water, which, we as humans and animals can't drink. So we can desalinate water, but fresh water is our primary source of water that we use in our day-to-day lives. So it's super important to utilize that as best we can. I think another big thing, too, is habitat loss, specifically for things like oil drilling and things like that. So deforestation, too, is another big one that kind of goes hand in hand with habitat loss. So I think focusing on things like that, especially in Michigan with the Upper Peninsula, we have such beautiful forests up there, and focusing on making sure that those forests stay there. Alaska is another big one. The Trump administration does want to do a lot of oil drilling up in Alaska, and working on things like that, making sure that, we preserve some of those forests and make sure that they're still there for generations to come. I think that's a really, really big one that I'm definitely focused on.
Yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from, and I believe that too. That's a part of why we're going to Pigeon River.
Mm-hmm.
So our members of our club are going up to Pigeon River in February, and the reason we're going to Pigeon River, it's called the Big Wild. What was it? Thoreau even wrote a like one of his books is from the Pigeon River area. So or perhaps it's a poem, but it's called The Big Wild, and it's one of the best places to see elks walking around and just like forest area that we have in Lower Michigan. So any listeners out there, I would really recommend going there because it's just so beautiful, and why not spend some time in the forest and appreciate what we have, you know? I think there's a David Attenborough quote that says, if you can't show people how can we expect, essentially what it says is, how can we expect the kids of tomorrow to fight for nature if they've never seen it?
Mm-hmm.
And so just one thing that we're doing with the club is just trying to show people who may have lived in more city areas, just a big expanse of nature, you know, where you turn around, there's no highways, there's no freeways, there's no roads. It's just you and the hiking trail. So that's going to be super exciting.
Yeah.
So turning back to school, what do you have any plans you said you are really into water conservation. Are you planning to integrate that to your career in the future?
Yeah, so with civil engineering here at Lawrence Tech, we can go into a couple different sections of it. So one of them would be like structural engineering. Another one is geotechnical, which would be working with things like soils and rocks and things like that. And then there are others that are more focused on things like water conservation that almost kind of go hand in hand with like environmental engineering. And that's definitely more so of what I want to do. So when, the time comes to take some of those electives and choose that path, things like hydrology and, environmental labs and stuff is kind of what I'm really interested in. And working, again, like I said, working with the land and trying to, do things that benefit, humans, working on roads, making better buildings, but also doesn't as deeply impact the land as some of our construction habits do now.
Yeah. You were talking about how LTU has those programs for people in civil engineering. I've always felt like the engineering college in general has been very supportive of the Environmental Alliance Club that we have going on. Have you been feeling that as well?
Oh, yeah. I have a ton of professors that, have inadvertently asked me, not knowing that I'm part of the Environmental Alliance, but have asked me or brought up, I wish that there was more sustainability stuff. Do you know any sustainability clubs or groups or whatever on campus? And it gives me a good opportunity to talk to them about, this club that we're doing, and not only focusing on sustainability, but creating community at LTU, which I feel like for a lot of students is something that Lawrence Tech can not lack, but there's not as many opportunities for commuter students. So it's a good segue to get them to look at sustainability in their own major, whether that's mechanical or civil or biomedical or something like that.
Yeah, and within your own major, we were talking to people from architecture and design, and they're bringing those subjects of sustainability into their courses too. And we have been invited to discuss with their faculty members, what we want to do with sustainability on campus. And then we've even have the in the chemistry major for arts and sciences, which is a whole different major. They have an environmental chemistry group, which was one of the first groups that I was talking to when we were building this club. And it just feels like there's such a big group of people here on campus who are pushing for sustainability or want sustainability. And sustainability is a hard, long road because there's so many different things and caveats. And what I love about the Environmental Alliance is we are building a community. We're establishing a group of people who are excited to bring the environment to school and excited to push the environment forward and come up with new ideas, like how do we show people how to recycle on campus? How do we clean up a green roof? What do we do with the River Rouge on campus? How do we make people enjoy the world that they see around them. And I've just been having so much fun making all these things up and talking to the other groups and talking to professors. And I know our president even, he's talked to me about it, and he was very excited to see this club. He's very supportive. So it's been such a fun ride.
Yes. Yeah, I completely agree. And being able to see, at each event, I feel like we've gotten more and more students too. So I think a lot of students on campus really are concerned about sustainability and really do want to talk about the environment in ways that we can improve it, especially with the degrees that a lot of us are getting. So it's so cool to give them an outlet to be able to express their opinions and their ideas and, work with their ideas and make it into something that actually happens on campus.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just everybody has so many different ideas because they see so many different things that one single person can't.
Yeah.
So it's just been so fun. A lot of people are like, what is this media comm student, meaning me, leading the environmental club? Shouldn't you have someone from engineering? And where I understand that, I have a different perspective, just like the business people that come to our class, or come to our club have a different perspective, just like the engineers have a different perspective. We all come together and then we create really fun events, really fun ideas, and just continue to move our LTU campus forward. We have the Office of the Students, the Dean of Students, contacts me and says like, hey, we're ready to do recycling. And so we work with them to bring their recycling to the different places on campus that offer recycling and stuff like that. So it's just, I've just had so much fun. And I've had so much fun talking with you today, but I think that about wraps us up. So thank you all for listening to LTU Perspectives. I'm Kristina. This has been Madisen. And come join the Environmental Alliance.
Yes, we would love to see you there.